India is the third largest producer of eggs in the world, only next to China and USA. In India, Tamil Nadu ranks first in egg production, followed by Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra and Haryana. India ranks fifth in the world in poultry meat production behind USA, China, Brazil and Mexico. The major broiler producing states in India are Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, Punjab, West Bengal and Karnataka. The annual per capita availability of poultry eggs and meat is 68 eggs and 3.6 kg respectively, which is far less than the recommended requirement of 180 eggs and 11 kg poultry meat. Hence, there is a need to increase production of poultry egg and meat to meet out the requirement of the growing human population. In this context, poultry hatchery for producing large numbers of broiler and layer chicks assumes significance. A veterinary graduate can venture into this lucrative poultry hatching business by establishing a full-fledged hatchery, since he has the basic knowledge of scientific poultry management. A good business plan is essential for setting up of a poultry hatchery. The modern concept of the hatchery building is to provide the best physical environment to optimize the efficiency of conversion of a hatching egg into a live and healthy chick through the process of artificial incubation and hatching. In a poultry hatchery, a number of chicks are produced at one time, resulting in uniform size of birds and production of eggs and meat at the same time. The major tasks to be undertaken by a veterinarian in a hatchery are supervision of hatchery operations, skillful operation of specialized poultry equipments and machinery, and strategic business planning. Increased number of poultry farms in towns and cities has emphasized that hatcheries should be set up by entrepreneurs in potential areas. A hatchery may be part of a poultry breeding farm, or it can be a franchisor of big players like Venkateshwara Hatcheries, Skylark Hatcheries, etc. for producing parent and day-old chicks of broilers and layers. There are several veterinarians who had excelled in poultry hatchery industry, and one such veterinarian who had ventured into poultry hatchery business and is a star performer till date is Dr. Selvaraj from Pollachi. Born in Sirumugai village in Coimbatore, he completed his BVSc in 1992 and immediately after graduation joined Pioneer Hatchery as commercial manager, one of the biggest hatcheries in Tamil Nadu during that time. Subsequently, he worked in few other hatcheries, namely Komala Hatcheries and Amrit Hatcheries, and gained experience in hatchery management, and later joined Suguna Hatchery in 2002 and worked for 7 years. During 2009, he bought 8 acres of land in Pollachi and established his own poultry breeding farm and hatchery with 20,000 egg capacity incubators, and currently has 15,000 broiler parent birds. On an average, he is producing 50,000 Vencorp chicks and supplying to more than 150 broiler integrator farmers. He has a total experience of 28 years in poultry breeding and hatchery management, and his annual income has exceeded to 70 lakhs from this venture. The poultry chick hatcheries are modern buildings that provide separate rooms for each hatchery operations. The hatchery area should be a separate unit with its own entrance and exit. The hatchery should be situated at least 1,000 feet from poultry houses to prevent horizontal transmission of disease-producing organisms from the chicken houses to the hatchery. The hatchery should be constructed in such a manner that the hatching eggs may be taken in from one end and the chicks removed at the other. Fireproof material should be used in constructing the walls of the hatchery, and the ceiling material is to be waterproof so as to prevent the growth of molds. The hatchery doors are wide enough for easy movement of trolleys, chick boxes, etc. The door openings should be 8 feet high and at least 4 feet wide with double swinging doors. The floors must be concreted so as to prevent cracking. The different rooms in a hatchery building must be adequate in size. The hatchery should have an egg holding room, setter room, egg candling room, hatcher room and chick holding room. The equipments used in a poultry hatchery are setter, hatcher, air conditioner, candler, egg trays, contact thermometer, trolley, sexing equipments, vaccinator, generator, etc. The size of the hatchery is based on the egg capacity of the setters and hatchers, number of eggs that can be set each week, and number of chicks hatched each week. The sequence of events taking place in a typical hatchery are: collection of hatching eggs. Hatching eggs should be collected in clean trays at least 6 to 8 times a day depending on the climatic condition. Remove and dispose unsettable eggs which are dirty, having cracks, small-sized eggs, jumbo eggs and misshaped eggs. Cleaning and fumigation of the hatching eggs. The cleaning or disinfection of the hatching eggs should be done soon after the eggs are collected and when the egg is warm. Generally, formalin fumigation is recommended for cleaning the hatching eggs rather than dry cleaning or wet cleaning. 2 parts of formalin by volume are mixed with approximately 1 part of potassium permanganate, and it is always advisable to add formalin to potassium permanganate. Grading and storage of hatching eggs. The average weight of a chicken egg is 50 to 55 grams. If the eggs are heavier or lighter, then it should not be used for hatching. To achieve the best hatchability and chick quality, it is necessary to provide optimum storage conditions to hatching eggs between laying and setting in the incubators. After the eggs are collected, cleaned, graded and fumigated, it should be cooled to below physiological zero. Sweating, setting and turning of hatching eggs. It is recommended that 6 hours prior to placing the eggs in the setter, they should be moved from the egg cooler room to normal room temperature. Here, atmospheric air condenses over eggshell and form water droplets over eggshell, which is called as sweating. With regard to the setter room, the size will depend on the type of equipment used. A minimum space of 3 feet should be allotted between the sides of the adjacent setters and from wall to sides or back of the setters. The placing of the eggs in the setter is called loading eggs or setting of eggs. Turning of eggs during incubation prevents the developing embryo adhering to the extra-embryonic membranes and reduces the possibility of embryo mortality. Hatching eggs need to be turned at least 8 times a day. In large commercial incubators, the eggs are turned automatically each hour, that is, 24 times a day. Candling of hatching eggs. Egg candling room is usually constructed in between the setter and hatcher room for candling the eggs. Candling is usually practiced when eggs are transferred from setter to hatcher. Provisions should be made to darken the room to facilitate easy candling. Candling is a process in which eggs are kept in front of a light source to find out the defects in the eggshell, embryonic development, etc. Under commercial operations, candling is done when the eggs are transferred from setter to hatcher on the 19th day for chicken eggs. Cleaning and disinfection of hatcher. In the case of hatcher room, spaces are to be allowed around hatcher unit similar to that of setter room. The hatcher is the main source of organic contamination in the hatchery. Water and detergent should be applied before scrubbing all parts of the hatcher. All the debris should be removed and rinsed thoroughly. Transfer of incubated eggs to the hatcher. In modern incubators, eggs are transferred from the setter to hatcher on the 19th day of incubation or when approximately 1% of the eggs are slightly pipped. In general, 1/7 of the total incubation period is needed to keep eggs in the hatcher. Pulling of the hatch, sexing, grading, packing and delivery of the day-old chick. The process of removing the chicks from the hatcher is often called pulling the hatch. Chicks should be removed from the hatcher as soon as all of them are hatched. Chick holding room should be present next to the hatcher room. A relative humidity of 65% is maintained to prevent excessive chick dehydration. Here, the chicks are sex separated, graded, vaccinated, and placed in chick boxes. In the case of layers, day-old chicks are needed to be sex separated either by vent sexing or auto-sexing. With regard to hatchery waste disposal, the hatchery waste includes infertile and non-hatching eggs and dead and cull chicks that should be disposed in such manner to not create problems to the neighbors. Most chicks are vaccinated against Marek's disease in the hatchery before delivery. After that, the newborn chicks should reach the customer's farm early in the morning. A chicken hatchery is a rewarding and good business for startup entrepreneurs to venture, and it requires astute knowledge to run a successful hatchery. Hence, young veterinarians can learn the nuances in the poultry hatchery and become a power player in the poultry production and distribution network.